Hi, my name is Rich, and today we're going to talk about the Way of the Ascendant Dragon. It's a new subclass that's been announced for the Unearthed Arcana on the 26th of October 2020, and it might not make Tasha's Cauldron of everything, but it looks like a new subclass has been announced. The two subclasses are the Way of the Ascendant Dragon and the Drake Warden Ranger. So, let's get started. The Way of the Ascendant Dragon. Monks who follow the Way of the Ascendant Dragon revere the power and grandeur of dragons. They alter their own ki to resonate with draconic might, channeling it to augment their prowess in battle, soar through the air, and to bolster their allies. As a follower of this monastic tradition, you decide how you unlock the power of the dragons through your ki. The Ascendant Dragon Origin table offers some possibilities. So it's a 1d6 Ascendant Dragon Origin table. I'm sure you can choose, or you could roll randomly, depending on how you and your DM decide. So option 1, if you roll a 1, you honed your abilities by observing a dragon and aligning your ki with the world-altering power. 2, a dragon personally took an active role in shaping your inner energy. 3, you studied at a monastery that traces its teachings back centuries or more to a single dragon's instruction. 4, you spent long stretches meditating in the region of influence of a dragon's ancient lair, absorbing its ambient magic. 5, you found a scroll written in draconic that contained inspiring new techniques. And 6, after a dream that featured a 5-handed dragonborn, you awoke with the altered ki, reflecting the breath of dragons. If we're being honest, I'm surprised the monk hasn't got a draconic themed subclass already, because it seems like all of the old kung fu movies, Bruce Lee Enter the Dragon, Way of the Dragon for example, it seems like the dragon symbolism is tied into the monk stereotype from dating back from the 50s and 60s Shaw Brothers movies. Let's start on the abilities. At level 3, you get Draconic Disciple. You can channel your draconic ki to imbue your unarmed strikes with the essence of a dragon's breath, and to use your connection with draconic creatures to magnify your presence. You gain the following benefits. When you damage a target with an unarmed strike, you can change the damage type to acid, cold, fire, lightning, or poison. If you can't already, you learn to speak, read, and write draconic. If you fail an intimidation or persuasion check, you can use your reaction to re-roll the check as you tap into the mighty presence of the dragons. Once this feature turns a failure into a success, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. At level 3, you also gain Breath of the Dragon. You can channel your ki into destructive waves of energy, like the dragons you emulate. When you take the attack action on your turn, you can replace one of the attacks with an exhalation of draconic energy in either a 20-foot cone or a 30-foot line that is 5 feet wide. Your choice. You choose a damage type from acid, cold, fire, lightning, or poison. Each creature in the area must make a dexterity saving throw against your ki save DC, taking damage of the chosen type equal to 2 rolls of your martial arts die on a failure, or half as much damage on a success. At level 11, the damage of your breath increases to 3 rolls of your martial arts die. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. When you have no uses available, you can spend 1 ki point to use this feature again. It looks like it's replacing one of the attack actions, so you could theoretically still use this as an attack action and then use Flurry of Blows afterwards. And you can only use 1 a turn, so it's not completely overpowered. But still, it's a nice boost to damage and covers area of effect. It seems like a very flexible skill to have. At level 3, your martial arts die would be a 1d4, and at level 11, it would be a 1d8, so that's a big boost to the damage. I think when you hit level 11, you'll be able to reuse this feature, but between levels 5 to 10, it may not be as powerful, and by that time you'll have stunning strikes, so you'll want to be focusing on using that. At level 6, you gain Wings Unfurled. When you use your Step of the Wind, you can unfurl spectral draconic wings from your back that vanish at the end of your turn. While the wings exist, you have a flying speed equal to your walking speed. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. When you have no uses available, you can spend one additional key point when you activate Step of the Wind to use this feature again. This feels like a powerful addition to any class, but with the monk you can already run up walls, so to use that in combination with Wings Unfurled, I'm sure you can reach any spot imaginable. And I think that it would be wasted on a Arakora, but with some of the smaller classes, if you get to be more nimble, then I'm sure you could use it to climb up to flying creatures and grapple them out of the sky. And I like this idea that they're tying the skills to the proficiency bonuses. It scales with the levels and you don't get to use it too often, but the options are still available to you. At level 11, you get Aspect of the Worm. The power of your draconic key now radiates from you, protecting your allies from harm and punishing any who raise arms against them. As a bonus action, you can create an aura of draconic power that radiates 30 feet from you for 1 minute. You can choose an element, acid, cold, fire, lightning or poison, and for the duration, you gain the following effects. You and your allies within your aura gain resistance to the chosen damage type. Waves of destructive energy flow out from you and your allies when any of you are attacked. When you or one of your allies in the aura is hit by an attack made by another creature within the aura, the target that was hit can use their reaction to deal an amount of damage of the chosen type equal to 1 roll of your martial arts die to the attacker. Once you use this bonus action, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend 4 key points to use it again. This seems like a direct counter to Dragon's Breath abilities, and it would be very useful for fighting demons that use fireballs, or even for Rime of the Frost Maiden. If you have resistance to cold damage or heat damage, depending on who you're fighting, this could be really helpful. It would be at the end of Rime of the Frost Maiden, because I believe it goes up to level 12 in that campaign, but still, it's not a skill to be looked down on. It gives you an excuse to spend your key points, and I think the more options you have as a monk, the more strategies you can work out. At level 17, you get Ascendant Aspect, the Draconic Monk's highest ability. Your Draconic Key reaches its peak. You gain the following benefits. You gain blind sight out of 30 feet. Within that range, you can effectively see anything that isn't behind total cover, even if you're blinded or in darkness. Moreover, you can see an invisible creature within the range, unless the creature successfully hides from you. When you damage a creature with your Breath of the Dragon, the energy clings to the target. At the start of each of the creature's turns, it takes damage of the type your breath dealt equal to 1 roll of your martial arts die. At the end of its turn, the creature can repeat the save, ending the effects on itself on a success. When you activate your Aspect of the Worm, Draconic Fury explodes from you. Choose any number of creatures that you can see within your aura. Those creatures each take 4d10 acid, cold, fire, lightning or poison damage. So you get a suite of different upgrades at level 17, it's not just one skill. I think that blind sight is always helpful, and it's pretty broken in some cases. I think that for some of the roleplay aspects, having blind sight negates a lot of the scenarios that the DM might have cooked up. So any DM that has a player taking this subclass must be aware of this. Having the damage over time is always fun, as long as you're not on the receiving end of it. And the Aspect of the Worm upgrade, it almost feels like you can go supernova. You can choose which creatures get the damage dealt to them, and you can help defend against that. So it seems like a great skill to have, so I would be using the 4 key points just to use it. Overall, it seems like a very powerful class, which is a theme that a lot of these Unearthed Arcana subclasses have been given. They almost make the other subclasses from earlier iterations like Xanathar's Guide and the Player's Handbook, it almost makes them feel a little bit quaint and outdated. That's a problem I've seen in some other games like Magic the Gathering, for example. There is almost a power curve, a power creep. As time goes on, you always have to have more powerful, and that makes some subclasses obsolete. Luckily, with Dungeons & Dragons, it's a pretty open game, so you can always choose a less powerful subclass, as long as you have fun playing it and you want to roleplay it. If this is your first time visiting the channel, don't forget to subscribe. and you can keep up to date with D&D news, subclass reviews, and spell analysis. I'm also working my way through covering some of the Rime of the Frostmaiden content as well, so look out for that on the horizon.